I hope that you'll all awaken your inner pirate. All right? So are you ready?
Sherry Gannon Lewis gets a lot of questions about what there is to do in her hometown of Bath. That's why she started Bath NC Tours, a guided walking tour of North Carolina's first and oldest town.
Bath is absolutely one of the most beautiful towns I've ever been in. It's very conducive to walking. We have a lot of people who walk all the time, so the scenery is gorgeous. You get to take in the water views. So here we are standing in the middle of Main Street. We haven't seen a car yet. We have many firsts in this town, and those are things that I get to talk about and tell people about on the tour. In addition to being first town and first port, Bath also gets to claim the first library in the Carolinas.
It also gets to claim the oldest church building in our state, St. Thomas Episcopal.
And the person we have to thank for the construction of St. Thomas's is the Reverend John Garcia.
Lewis tours include the backstories of many of Bath's historical figures, stories not found on historical markers.
Reverend Garcia scarcely spoke English, and his parishioners made fun of him all the time. But he was such a hard-working man. He baptized 635 people in 1 year alone, and it's because of him that the church is actually constructed. And we're going to go ahead and go on in. Just watch your step, please, and we'll see what we find.
The tour includes a glimpse inside the church and a chance to ring Queen Anne's bell, which used to adorn the top before being knocked down by a hurricane.
Woo! Bath gets to claim the first female priest in the Carolinas, and her name was Reverend Wendy Rayner. So this memorial garden is in memory of her.
On Main Street, there's a stop at the home of Dr. T.J. Nicholson.
Dr. Nicholson actually performed the first successful cesarean section in North Carolina.
The Caro House is often mistaken for Blackbeard's home because of a state historical marker about the notorious pirate that sits nearby.
This was reported incorrectly and did end up in a school textbook as Blackbeard's house, so they had to recall all of the textbooks. So that was a pretty expensive mistake, right?
Lewis takes people to the home site of Bath's founding father, John Lawson.
And he actually wrote the first natural history book of the Carolinas, which he published in 1709.
Lawson's home site is now the site of the Bonner House.
The Bonner House is said to be one of the best remaining examples of early 19th century Carolina architecture.
The house belonged to James Bonner, the founder of Washington, North Carolina.
Does everybody like pirates on the tour? Okay. Arr.
And of course, there are stories of Blackbeard, who once lived here.
Actually, Blackbeard lived on that beachy area, and it's known as Plum Point, okay? This is the site of the Bath African American Methodist Episcopal Zion Church.
I thought the tour was excellent. In our uncultured way, we don't think of America as having that much history compared with our own country, and yet the ties are there for all to see, going back to 1600s, 1700s.
When we first looked to come here, I wasn't necessarily expecting so much history. So that has taken me by surprise, and it's lovely. I love history.
It truly is a town of the firsts, you know, that's what I took away from it the most.
This has only been a sampling of Lewis's tour, which generally takes about 2 hours and provides so much more information and insight than historical markers or brochures.
It brings the history to life. I would like people to leave here feeling like they learned something that they didn't know. I would like them to have the experience that I'm very grateful to have of just getting the views and walking around our town and getting the sense of what a wonderful place this is.